In the span of less than 2 weeks on what was supposed to be the height of election campaigning has turned out to be somewhat of a nightmare, notably for President Trump and his campaign. Every day the nation wakes up to a new headline. Some call it political dysfunctionality, others say a social breakdown. The White House is infected. Before we wrap up this week's edition of U.S. Election Special Broadcast, here's a look at the last tumultuous 14 days and a headline for each day.
Donald Trump held a White House Rose Garden ceremony to announce the nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett as a judge of the Supreme Court. Prominent supporters, politicians, and Trump's allies across the country attended the gathering without masks. The New York Times published a comprehensive report on Trump's federal income tax history. According to the bombshell report, the former business mogul had just paid $750 as the federal tax. The report fueled attacks on the president in the final weeks of the presidential campaign. Donald Trump called it fake news and White House backed Donald Trump. Trump and Biden clashed in the first presidential debate of 2020. Trump refused to condemn white supremacists and once again questioned the legitimacy of the elections. The US president also mocked Joe Biden for wearing a mask. Trump took his campaign to Minnesota and renewed his racist attacks on Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar. On his way back to Washington from his rally, Trump's top aide, Hope Hicks, developed coronavirus symptoms. Trump's aide, Hope Hicks, tested positive for coronavirus, and Trump flew to New Jersey for a fundraiser, and there is no clarity over Trump's awareness about Hicks' results. Several people, including politicians, attended Trump's fundraiser event at his golf club. At nearly 1 a.m., US President announced on Twitter that he and his wife, Melania Trump, have tested positive for coronavirus and will begin their quarantine process. But the next day, Trump headed to the Walter Reed Center after his symptoms got serious. The White House doctors offered a rosy assessment of the president's condition at the White House briefing. Dr. Sean Conley said that Trump is doing well and has been fever-free for 24 hours, although contradictory reports surfaced from several sides. A still infected Trump departed from the Walter Reed Center and drove past a group of supporters gathered outside the hospital. Sealed inside the SUV with Secret Service agents wearing masks, eye protection and gowns, a masked Trump waved at the supporters on the road. The heavily medicated president returned to a dramatically changed White House and removed his mask on the stairs for a photo op. Several White House officials, staff, aides and their family members have contracted the virus over time, and more than 15 White House officials had already tested positive, including the press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. After tweeting for a COVID stimulus deal from the hospital, Donald Trump dramatically pulled the plug on COVID-19 relief funds amid heavy economic losses, causing markets to plunge just before close. Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic challenger Kamala Harris clashed in a verbal war at the University of Utah for the vice presidential debate. Both the candidates presented their viewpoints in a civil and composed debate with a plexiglass between them. With rising numbers of cases in and around White House and the unclear health report on Trump, the Commission for Presidential Debate announced that the second debate will be held virtually on October 15. The president has refused to debate his rival Joe Biden in a virtual debate and asked for the debates to be postponed if necessary.